Hey, man.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Dude, if I was any better, I'd be you.
Why do you say that?
You're killing the game, aren't you?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, doing my best.
I see you around.
You see our shit?
Yeah, I
I remember
see.
you DM'd me once, like a year or two ago or something, and you were like, "Yep, looks like I got to start doing some shit now on Instagram."
Yeah. Yeah, building a personal brand is pretty important nowadays. I was kind of helping everybody else, Grant and all these other people, and didn't really do it for myself. And then I just started watching what people are doing, and I thought, might as well.
Yeah. Were you like when you first saw the people doing the personal brand shit? Was your initial reaction was like, "This is cool. I might want to do this," or was it like, "This is stupid. This is a waste of money." That kind of thing.
No, I never thought it was a waste of money or stupid. Some of the people were stupid, and they still succeeded. They were still gathering that attention.
Hmm.
So, what people need to realize when it comes to building a personal brand, in my opinion, is if you're worried about the hate, you'll never find the love. So, just put your shit out there,
Hmm.
and the right people will follow you that should, and
Hmm.
the ones that don't, you weren't looking for those anyway.
Yeah.
So, I
At
didn't
all.
really think anyone was stupid for doing it, or that it was stupid, but it was it was interesting. I was just like, it's interesting. This guy's getting followers, and then you see some of the people with like a million followers, but like 10 comments. So I didn't know you could buy followers and do all
Hmm.
these contests and shit. Now I get hit up every day in my DMs. How come you're only at 500,000? Like I can get you to 1 million. It's like I just keep saying no because I don't want to be followed so someone can get Kim Kardashian's luggage set or whatever they're giving away.
Yeah.
I want to be followed because you want to follow me.
Hmm.
So if you see my shit and you're like, hey, I like this dude, boom, follow, then that's all the followers I want or need
Hmm.
personally. That's just
Yeah.
my own personal.
Yeah. See, when I was building mine, like and growing it, I just looked at IG as a funnel and not a community. Meaning, I wasn't trying to build a group of people, like-minded people who are interested in this shit. It was no, I need to get traffic, and then I need to nurture that traffic, and then I need to convert that traffic into a sale.
Yeah.
So it was just like, let's get fresh blood in here, let's put them through the funnel, we'll get X amount of sales, and let's just reinvest and just keep the cycle going.
Yeah.
And that's how I looked at it for a long time, and then it was very profitable. Worked really well for a long time. It doesn't
Yeah.
work quite as well anymore.
Well, good, because I did it backwards.
You're doing it the right way now.
Well, I mean, I always
Yeah.
did that. You haven't really seen me try to monetize the thing,
Hmm.
but you can see how you could.
I see a lot of people
Yeah, well, if I
doing
were
it. Yeah.
smarter, I probably would have been about, 10 million in the good, but, whatever. You live, you learn. I'm an old dog,
How old are you?
52.
You look really good for 52.
Oh,
Man.
thank you, thank you.
What would you have said, Dan?
40, 40.
I would have said like 42, 43. It would have been my guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, 52, man. Old dog. So when I started doing it, I didn't really realize, oh, that's traffic. And then you put them in a funnel, then you nurture, then you drip on them. And I'm like, I just started talking and putting content out there.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
even though I wasn't trying, it did bring me a lot of business. It still does.
Does it?
And I don't even ask for it. So I think that's, a plus. That's why I believe I call them kill sets instead of skill sets. But if anyone in the world just understands the 4 skill sets, you could be the top plumber, lawyer, chiropractor, doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be an influencer, whatever you want. And it's sales, closing, and influence, personal branding, social media, and marketing. If you understand those 4, you're guaranteed 7, 8 figures in life,
Hmm.
if that's your goal.
Hmm. That's it. Because if you have those skills, you're always going to know how to attract attention.
Someone else will give you 7, 8 figures.
Hmm.
Like I could come work for you, and if I could drive you 100,000 customers a month, you're going to pay me whatever I ask.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially if you're monetizing it properly.
Yeah. That is the ultimate skill in business, isn't it? Acquisition.
Yeah.
That's the whole game.
Acquisition.com.
Alex Hermosi.
Old whore Mosey.
Dude, I was talking to him a couple weeks ago.
He lives here now.
Yeah, he lives.
He's right across the way.
We won't say what building, but
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I'm like, dude, your YouTube is blowing up. You got acquisition. I was like, your inflow must be like this, and your ability to pick people must be like this. He was like, yeah, and I was like, are you doing anything with it? And he was like, no, I'm not doing anything. I was like, why? He's like, I'm just super lazy right now. I don't feel like doing anything. So he was just like, he has all this inflow of people who are like, take equity, and he's just not into it. He's just bored.
Well, good for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do
That's
you mean to be in that
good
position?
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
Yeah.
A lot of people are hungry, desperate.
Well, it's that whole thing in life where like, if you want it, can't get it. You don't need it, you'll get it.
Like credit.
Are we rhyming right?
Credit, man. It's like
Yeah.
you need credit, you need loans. They don't give it to you. Pretty soon, you don't need them, and now everybody's offering you their money.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
It was probably 10 years ago. I was sitting like at a 600 credit score. Didn't understand credit.
10 years ago.
Yeah,
What were you doing 10 years ago?
building Lightspeed. Like most people don't know it, but I'm a true entrepreneur. I've got 6 companies, full-blown companies, RV dealerships, medical, financial. Most people just see me at Lightspeed because that's my headquarters. So 10 years ago, I was just building Lightspeed up. And Lightspeed, as you know, or maybe you don't, is a web-based interactive training technology. A lot of people compare it to Kajabi, but I'm like, totally different. Like that's like comparing a kiddie pool to a water park. Big difference.
Yeah.
And the biggest difference is interactivity. If you're going to drive 1 million people to a video, right? People make a course, put it on Kajabi, drive people to it, make money, drip on them, nurture them, sell them other shit. What we do is we create an interactive video to where inside the video, I can ask you questions interactively, and then based on those options and choices, present different paths and opportunities based on your choices. So your conversion goes through the roof.
This is in the sales process or in the teaching process? Like I'm going through my material now.
Yeah, we embed it in the course itself. So you don't have to drip on them later. You've already asked them 15 questions within the course interactively. And then based on their buttons and choices and paths that they took, the data that you've collected inside the course, then you make offers and upsells right there in the course.
Does it happen? First of all, that's fucking amazing. I'm ready to sign off now. But when you get in and you ask me the question and say I'm in module 2 and it asks me the question in the middle and I answer it, does the offer come up immediately or is it?
It can. You just program it to do that.
I could do it today, next week, whenever.
Do what?
Like the offer. I can time it for when I want it to show up.
Well, you can definitely time it, but it's designed to where when people are going through the course at the right time, you ask a question, they say, for example, the question might be, how's your credit? And someone says 600 or below. Well, credit's important in life, and I have a credit program. It's only $900, but we can get your credit score up. Would you be interested in talking to somebody? They go click, it texts somebody. Bam, that person's on the phone talking to you. But if you said you had an 800 credit score, it never would have offered you that.
Wow.
So you just embed interactivity. So we create a video of you, and then we just film all the different responses. And so now when someone goes through the course, it looks like they're talking to you one-on-one. And then based on what they pick and what they choose and what they need and the data that you collect, it tells you when and what to present as your next step. Because as we all know, those are just kind of the beginning. Do you have a business? Oh, yes, I do. How many employees? Over 10, under 10, over 10. Ooh, good. That's a good lead to know. So if you send someone to a course, just a plain video, it doesn't ask questions and it doesn't make offers. So if you send 1 million people through your videos and you don't ask questions and you don't make offers, what'd you miss?
A lot of money.
Yeah, so we just take those same courses that people host on Kajabi and Teachable and these other ones. We just move them over to Lightspeed, embed interactivity, and we just drive traffic. And the course itself becomes the funnel.
When you first built Lightspeed, was that was the vision you had for it?
No. Originally, I was training people. I was going to be the sales guru. Okay. I still am, as a matter of fact. But when I was first starting, I wanted to be the guru. So I went out knocking on doors, training people live, doing the workshops and everything. And it wasn't working as well as it used to when I worked at this company. And I did a little research to figure out why I couldn't. I mean, I was pulling people out of Burger King drive-thrus and freaking turning them into badass salespeople quick. And my talent for producing animals on the sales floor made me quit because I liked the way it felt to show someone how to go from minimum wage to 15 grand a month. So I quit my job to go do that and went out on the road and realized it wasn't working anymore. And I couldn't figure out the reason. So I did a little research and I realized when I was working at a company, I was given good content with repetition, practice, and accountability. And when I went out on the road and did it at the, seminars and shit, I was just given good content and then leaving. There was no repetition, there was no practice, and there was no accountability. So I invented Lightspeed to house my material. So then I put it in the system. I made it interactive because in real life I asked questions. So I had to ask the same questions and based on their choices respond accordingly. So I built in the interactivity because I needed to emulate what I did in real life. I didn't want it to just be a video. I wanted to, mimic what I did in person. So I built the interactivity to do that. And then I started running into competition. People saying, oh, we use this guy or we use that guy. And I knew that they were training the old way. So I just went to them and said, hey, I know where customers want your content, but they want it in my system. Why don't I white label my system, get a little fraction of the action, a little piece for my niece, a little tad for Brad, and I'll even show you where the customers are. And so I closed, Grant Cardone and a bunch of these gurus that were out there, and they just started using my technology to deliver their online training. When I started online training, there was no online training. Mm-hmm. This was in '99.
Oh shit, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, so a lot of people credit me as the kind of the father of online training, and I'll take it.
That's a good title.
Yeah, no one was doing it.
Yeah.
I was doing it, and it was working. Why? Well, because I created a way to emulate what you did in real life through this technology that I have. Like for example, Lightspeed allows you to make content. These other ones, they just allow you to host it. Mm-hmm. It allows you to test in a variety of ways, role play, practice. There's reporting, real-time texting, and notifications. So employers started wanting it for their teams. Subject matter experts started wanting it to deliver their training to companies and individuals. Mm-hmm. So I just started licensing the technology out, and that made me more than selling my own training. So I kind of took a back seat and just started helping all these other brands market and brand themselves and build brands. And I just was supporting them because I got a little piece, but it was a little piece times 500 people.
Yeah, and that adds up.
Oh, it adds up. It adds up.
Yeah. It's really interesting. The thing, so part of my brain is I'm just half taken with the idea because I'm thinking about all the shit we do and all the shit we don't do based on what you're saying. But the other part is I have an agency right now, where it started as I was doing my shit where we sell our stuff. We sell our stuff through the DMs. We do chat-based closing. Yeah. And we're good at it. And a couple of other brands and influencers wanted us to do it for them on the side. So I was like, all right, we could probably do this. And now it's turned into a business that makes me more money than my main business. Yeah. And it's just behind the scenes, and I'm just doing it for all these people. And I don't know, I'm just thinking do you think it was definitely the right decision for you to just go behind the scenes for all these people?
Well, yeah, because ironically, 20 some years later, I'm coming back, and now my content's becoming the content everybody wants. Yeah. So I put together Closer School just as an example. So when people came in, I could say like this, you just do it like this. And I didn't really push it or anything. And then it was $100 grand a month, and $200 grand a month. And then, I didn't even really mess with it. I don't have closers in DMs. I don't market it much. I say much because I spend about $1,000 a day on Facebook. But ultimately now, because I was hanging around Grant and Tony Robbins and all these people, I started to get a little shine from them. People were like, who's this guy? Then I started posting, and then they're like, oh, this guy's funny. So now all of a sudden, hey, can you come train my team? And I'm like, I don't really train people anymore, but, I'll give you $100,000. And I'm like, I'll be there Tuesday. So mainly it just starts with this training program. And I put together one that has the 4 skill sets that I'm talking about. So anyone can learn how to do that for very little money. And then inside that course, if you do what I tell you to do and pass, I'll give you a job at one of my companies, because all I'm looking for is badass salespeople. Mm-hmm. So 1,000 people come in, whichever ones are the cream of the crop, boom, I'll give them a job for, $250,000, $500,000 a year. Unless they're, entrepreneurial, then they could turn it into a 7-8 figure opportunity. I'm going to start pushing that.
Are you? Yeah.
2022.
It's a good angle.
Yeah, well, basically, people be like, well, what's your product? I'm selling a job, bro.
Yeah, you just got to get trained and certified by me first, so I know you're legit.
Yeah, I can't use you if you don't know what I need you to know. Exactly. But at the end of the day, if you're not making $300,000 to $500,000 a year, you got to admit you're missing some information, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Like if you're not making $300,000 a year, because anyone can, they just have to understand how to do it, and I'll teach them that, and then I'll even give them the vehicle to do it with. Come work at one of my companies. I got a medical company that almost every doctor says yes. I got financial services. I'm starting a solar. Solar's getting big. Mm-hmm. And why? Well, because all you need is a bunch of badass salespeople. So there's people right now digging ditches, freaking doing hard labor for no reason. They get their $28 an hour. I had one guy say, well, I get prevailing wage on the weekend. What's prevailing wage? I don't even know what that is. He's like, that's where they pay you like time and a half. I'm like, oh, you get $60 an hour. Wow. $60 an hour times 40 hours a week. It's like $10,000 a month. It's not even what, $120,000 a year? Mm-hmm. You can, I don't want to say barely get by because I'll sound jaded. You can live decent, but you're not really living until you hit about $20,000 a month plus. Mm-hmm. Because not only is inflation and all the bills getting bigger, but you have to have some discretionary income to start investing, to start buying assets and start like really investing. Because most people, they're making this money, but they're spending most of it. So they can never get a chunk of money to start putting it in the game.
Correct. They never get started.
No. And then they borrow money from their grandma to go learn how to buy real estate with zero cash down. And then they realize, oh, you need cash to have no cash down real estate game.
Yeah.
So pretty soon they're just in this cycle. Well, I can show people how to get out of that cycle. They still might have to borrow some money from their grandma, but you go through this courseware, interactive courseware, and weekly coaching. Within 30, 45 days, I'll have you to a point where I'll give you the job. I'll give you the leads. I have a lead company too. So I'll give you the leads. I'll give you the job. And if you fail, it's on you. It's like, guy sells me a treadmill, doesn't come over and see if I'm riding it. At the end of the day, I'll give you the treadmill. Mm-hmm. I'll show you how to get in shape. But, people have to do the work. Mm-hmm. So I've got the system designed to where it kind of weeds out the weak. You have to go through it multiple times. Repetition's key. Mm-hmm. I bet you a lot of people that took your course went through it once and then talk shit about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, didn't work for me.
Yeah, courses don't work.
Well, number one, going through it once doesn't work either. You want to go to a plastic surgeon who did it once?
Right. No one wants to be the first facelift.
Yeah. You want to go to a church where the pastor read the Bible once? You want an expert.
And I'm sure with you, like I know for me, anything that I've learned over my years, I got to reread, or like the courses I go through, the stuff I read it 3 times, 5 times, 7 times. Yeah. There's certain books I'll revisit every year.
Sure.
And I learn something new every time. Like you can't, I don't know anything you can do once and get it. Like you did one workout, now you got a 6-pack. Like that doesn't happen.
No.
Yeah.
So again, you want to be highly trained professional, repetition is required. Mm-hmm. And that includes watching a video. Mm-hmm. But I watch mixed martial arts. It doesn't make me a black belt. You got to go to the gym. You got to apply what you're learning. You got to practice. Repetition. So the way I have the system designed is they're going to go through it enough and take little interactive role play tests and shit, get on live calls and role play, talk about things, understand, it takes work. We sell leads to people in several industries. Well, you'll sell someone, let's say 100 leads. They'll call 5 and say, dude, these leads are garbage. Mm-hmm. And I'll be like, Well, what'd they say? And, they called 5. The next 15 were all deals, but, they stopped after the fifth call because they got hung up on. Like, dude, it takes work. There's no, you know why they call it work? Because it works.
Yeah, man. I mean, but it's kind of like an epidemic that I see of all people everywhere I look.
Yeah.
And I try not to be jaded about it, but the majority of people, not the majority, yeah, the majority of people that I hear from, they're just lazy as fuck.
Yeah, I'm not looking for them.
No, but they're lazy. And the thing is, this is what's weird to me, is they don't know they're lazy. Like, they think they're actually putting forth effort, like they're trying. I'm like, what'd you do? Well, I watched one video for 20 minutes today. Good, you didn't do shit. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and you're starting out, when I was starting out, when most people are starting out, there's 14, 16-hour days, 7 days a week. That's required. That's not like your work. That's just what's required to start. And people don't get it.
Yeah, but not everybody's lazy, dude. Some people just don't know what to do. Like, there's a lot of hard working some bitches out there, dude. They're just doing the wrong things. They're missing information, and they don't get it. And they'll do that their whole life unless somebody comes along and gives them some information and or shines some light on a particular skill set that they're missing. I think they're called laborers. Like, I'm looking for laborers that don't want to labor. They want to freaking start crushing life. Because they're not afraid to work, dude. They do it every day. They get up, they freaking grab the shovel, the axe. There's loggers, there's freaking car detailers, landscapers. Like, there's so many people that bust their ass all day long for their $20 an hour. It's unbelievable. They're missing information. They just don't know that they possess something that could literally change the whole game. We start with their mindset. The mindset. Most people don't believe they are worth anything more than they've got. So you got to teach them that, if you don't fix that self-image, you'll never outperform it. Like, you'll never outperform your own self-image. If you think you're worthless, you are, and you'll never outperform that image. So you have to develop a bigger self-image. So how do we do that? Most people don't know. They'll just go through their whole life. And, ultimately it's some agreement that they made in the past with somebody, or they took somebody's opinion of them and
made that a
bet
reality.
on it. Yep.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I'm curious what you think in general about, because you are a master closer. You have a lot of sales experience. You close a lot of deals. What do you think about the state of social media and the internet and all the people out there slinging how to sell stuff courses and how to be a closer and who's good and who's not? And like, what do you think? What do you see? What do you think's going on?
Well, what I think's going on is people are trying to capitalize, and sales is a wide net, large market. I haven't taken everyone's courses, so I don't know who's full of shit or not. But it's definitely something worth investing.
Do you think that the best salespeople have courses? Or do you
Not necessarily.
Do you think that there's like a bunch of unknown people who are fucking killers and they just would never, they're not going to be on the internet. That's not what they do.
Well, there's some killers that don't know that they're, making less money than they could. Because a lot of people are like, those that can't teach, that's not true. I can, and I do, and I teach. I think when you start to focus on helping other people, honestly help other people, you just start getting more in return. When I was, growing up till about the age of 30, I was just trying to get rich. It was all about me, 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 me. And then I basically took this dude and turned him into a badass, and he started making a bunch of money. I watched the money changes him and his whole family, obviously in a positive manner. And that's what made me quit my job. I said, man, I want to help other people do this. And I literally quit my job for doing roughly $500,000 a year.
What were you doing?
Running a car dealership.
Okay.
And so I quit that to go help other people. I wasn't thinking, I'm going to go make a bunch of money doing this. I thought, dude, I can make the same amount of money and I can help people. So I wanted to help people. As soon as I started helping people, dude, that's when I, started breaking that $500,000 a year mark. I was just trying to help other people. So there's people out there that are badass salespeople and they're making a kick-ass living doing what they do. But if they just stop to, help other people, they'd quadruple what they're making. And they don't have to stop selling. Nowadays, with interactive courses and a system called Lightspeed, all you have to do is spend a week in a studio, and now you've got an unlimited scalable resource that's valuable. A course. Like stop for a week, spend a week in a studio, boom, I can sell 1 million passwords for $10 or $1,000 and what's cool is you press a button, dude, you can make one password or 1 billion just the same way. So it's better than a book, better than a DVD. It's just, you have to create the courseware. You have to create the intellectual property that's valuable. Businesses buy it. There's all kinds of companies that say, dude, can you train my salespeople?
Do you work with universities, colleges?
We've got a few universities with some of our clients through it. Chiropractic universities. The University of Oregon uses one of our clients' courseware for their students, but not directly. Okay. But we should. We just did a deal with the Texas School Board for like 1 million passwords, but it's for like first graders.
Okay.
But I think eventually, we need to take a look at the education system as a whole because, I dropped out of school at the 11th grade and everyone said I was stupid. And boy, are you dumb. And now looking back, they weren't even smart enough to quit. I quit because I knew it wasn't helping me. Like why are we learning this stuff?
Where'd you grow up?
Oregon.
In Oregon. Big city, small city?
Small.
Okay.
From birth to about 13, real small. Then I moved to Eugene, which is fairly small. And then I moved to Portland, which is big. So, but school's not teaching us anything. Even though I dropped out at 16, now I've got 2 PhDs, 4 MBAs, 13 bachelor degrees, and 12 associates.
All working for you.
That's right. Everyone's like, how'd you do that? I just hired them.
Yep.
You don't need a degree if you can hire one. So a lot of people think, college is a must to be successful. It's not a must. Matter of fact, it's probably a hindrance. But if someone asks me, do you want your kids to go to college? Absolutely. But I want them to go for the relationships. The knowledge and the classes and the shit they pick up, that's a bonus. I want them to go for the relationships because the relationships is the new economy. That's the new currency. So you can't replace college to build relationships because everybody's there and you make some lifelong friends. You might even meet your spouse. So I definitely think college is a good thing, but the education part of it, not so much. So I would probably, just go tweak education. And then
what would you change?
Well, just what they're learning and who they're learning it from. You know what I mean? I want to learn from someone who built a 10-figure company, not a professor who read about it. Who learned it from a professor, who learned it from a professor, who learned it from a professor. I mean, if all these professors were so fucking smart, how come they're not billionaires? If they know how to do it, how come they're not rich? Why are they stuck teaching out of college? You know what I mean? Like, dude, if I possess the greatest information in the world and I can teach you how to go out and be a mogul, how come I'm not one?
Right.
That's the difference.
Right. Well, I very...
And people say, Brad, well, you're teaching people shit. Yeah, but I am one. Like, I am doing it and teaching it.
Correct. Yeah. And
I want to learn from those people.
Well, it's just like when you've just known theory and you haven't actually done it, there's so many of these little distinctions that you pick up just through experience that can't be learned in a book.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. It's all those little things that because I've been hit so many times. I got scars to prove it, and that's how I know.
Well, look at ClickFunnels. Most of them turn out to be dick funnels. That's where you make a dick, right? You use ClickFunnels?
Yeah, we do.
Have you made a bunch of money?
Sure.
It wasn't from ClickFunnels. That was a tool that you implemented.
Of course.
And again, people always say, why you bash ClickFunnels? I don't. It's great for what it is, but it doesn't make you rich. A ClickFunnel just allows you to build quick landing pages and drop in the little widgets without a bunch of programming. You still have to have the copy. You still have to have the hook. You still have to have the compelling offer. You still have to have a good product. You still have to have closers. It's just a tool.
Correct.
So everybody thinks, you're one funnel away. Well, no, you're one funnel, one copywriter, one offer, one hook, one videographer. It takes a lot.
You're a shit ton away. Yeah, you're not there. So my specialty is copy. That's what I do, is copy, advertising, marketing. That's my thing. And in copy, have you ever heard of the term mechanism? People talk about that.
Mechanism?
Yeah, have you heard that? Like, what's your mechanism in your pitch?
No.
Okay, so it's a copy term. I wouldn't expect it. It's mechanism is, the analogy would be like, if you're here and you want to go here, what is the vehicle that's going to drive you from here to here? That vehicle is your mechanism. So if I just go on Instagram, people teaching all the random people out there how to make money from home, right? There's a variety of, there's a menu of mechanisms people could choose from. One guy has a Forex mechanism. His mechanism is you just use Forex and you'll make money. Another guy is penny stocks. Another guy is social media agency. Another guy is be a closer. Another one, might be. So for Russell, it's funnels. Funnels is you're one funnel away. You just get the right funnel, then you'll go from where you are to where you want to be. So in marketing, I always have this inner conflict, because in marketing, the best way to pitch is you have a very appealing mechanism to people, something that they hear it and they go, I could do that. That sounds like I could do that.
Well, Russell is a master at that.
He's a great marketer. Yeah, making you believe.
Hell yeah.
And it's not you. Don't worry about it. It's the mechanism. I got a good funnel. Yeah. You get a good funnel, you're good. So my conflict is I'm selling you the mechanism, and you're buying it, and that's great. And it kind of is the truth, but it's not really the truth, because there's all these other things that you still got to do with it. Because you got the funnel. It's like, great. Like you said, what the fuck is the headline going to be? What's the offer? How are you going to grab their attention? How are you going to drive ads? How are you going to get there's so much that goes into it. But if everyone is marketing based on, I got the best mechanism to the marketplace, then you get an entire marketplace of people who believe there's just one thing, that if they knew one thing, then everything would change for them. And that's not true at all for anybody.
I agree.
Yeah. It's really interesting. Are you familiar with Dan Kennedy?
Yeah.
The marketing guy?
Didn't he die?
And he came back to life somehow.
Did he?
He's living.
Shut up.
He was at ClickFunnels, the event, like last month.
Did he die, though?
He was in hospice.
No, someone said Dan Kennedy, or maybe it wasn't Dan Kennedy.
No.
He died.
So 2 years ago, they thought he died. He put out a letter talking about, I'm dying, basically, or whatever. And so there's all these Facebook posts, and everyone's like, he's dying. And then no one heard. And then about a year and a half later, we got word he was actually alive.
Oh, right on.
Fucking great. Yeah.
Well, because he's smart. A lot of people talk highly of him.
He's my marketing Jesus. That guy is. Does
he have any courses?
He has a fuck ton of courses.
Yeah. Send me a text. Let me get some.
Bro, I'll send you some shit. Yeah. He's amazing. But one of the things he always taught in his marketing is the one thing, meaning, whenever you're selling information, it's always about the one thing. Like, if you just knew this one thing, then you'd have X, Y, and Z. And that one thing has become the mechanism in everyone's marketing. But it works kind of like, there's Dan, and then you got Russell, who learns from Dan. You got Frank Kern, who learns from Dan. You got all the marketers who learn from Dan. And then they're going and they're teaching all the little baby marketers out there. So now you got every marketer telling everyone else in the world that there's one thing, and we wonder why these people don't work hard. And they're like, well, the thing didn't work. So it's like, do you see what I'm saying here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, there's that creates opportunity.
Very much so. Yeah.
Because as soon as they realize it's not one thing, it's several things, we can just upsell you the rest of the things you're going to need.
Right. Once you get it.
That's why Russell has the masterminds.
Right, because if it was really one funnel, then why would you sell me anything else?
Yeah.
Yeah. And not to knock on Russell, because I think he's brilliant.
Oh, he is.
He's fucking
buddy.
Awesome.
He did a great job. I read his books, great books.
Yeah.
I recommend his books to everybody who wants to get into marketing. Expert Secrets. There was a little series of books like Russell's. Yeah. And again, I don't crack on ClickFunnels, like cool little tool, but don't be fooled. You don't just need ClickFunnels subscription. There's more people not making money with ClickFunnels than making money. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because they got all those other things put together. Even media buying has nothing to do with a ClickFunnel. If you don't know how to media buy, you don't know how to retarget, if you don't know how to, if you don't even know what a pixel is, ClickFunnels isn't going to help you.
Correct. Yeah. And there's
But if you read his book, you'll think so. Like, dude, a hot dog vendor sold $1 billion in courses. Holy shit, I can do this.
He did. That
You
guy,
know?
Perry Belcher. I
Yeah.
don't know if
Oh, I know Perry Belcher.
you know that Perry was. Perry was the hot dog guy.
Really?
Perry had a course on how to make money being a hot dog vendor. He made a killing with it.
No shit.
Ask him
Oh, I
about it.
can't wait to bust his chops on that.
That was fucking Perry.
But was he a hot dog vendor?
I think he. I can't imagine Perry being a hot dog vendor. I can imagine him paying someone who was to write the course for him. That makes more sense to me.
Perry Belcher.
Yeah, that's a smart guy.
He's known for knowing what he's doing.
Very much so. Yeah, he. I've only met him once, but I've always studied him and Ryan and Roland from afar. Those guys are
Smart
sharp.
dudes.
Yeah. Were you paying attention to like the internet marketing landscape like 10 years ago?
No.
No, like all these marketers, you weren't. So
I was asleep at the wheel.
you were focused. You were doing
Well, I
your
should have started, really focusing then. I'd probably be 5 times where I'm at now.
Maybe.
It's never too late though.
Nah, bro.
I've been paying attention the last few years.
Yeah, you've been watching.
Yeah.
But like, if you go back to 08, 09, 10, let's say, it looked completely different. And a lot of the guys, so Russell, Frank, Perry, Ryan, a lot of those guys did not have any of the companies that they have today. They didn't have the softwares. They sold courses and they did launches. And they would have, are you familiar with anything I'm saying right now?
Mm-hmm.
The syndicate they would have? They had a syndicate where they would, each guy would take a month. And January is my month to launch my thing. So we're going to put all our email lists together and you're all going to promote my thing. And then next month it'll be yours. And they just had a rotation going on for a couple of years. And they all made a bunch of money doing it. And I think at some point they realized this is not sustainable. We're all going to go out of business at some point because it's just like I make a bunch of money in January and I'll make a fucking penny again until July. Like this doesn't work. And then it was interesting because there was maybe 10 or 12 of them back then and 80% of them were gone. But Frank is still around. Ryan and Perry have built an amazing company. Russell's built a kick-ass company with ClickFunnels. But it was just really interesting because they all were there in this little group together. And now, like I said, most of them gone. And then you got a few of them that have done really well. It's been interesting to see, though.
You ever heard of a guy named Stephen Pierce?
Yes. Black dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He claimed he was, back in those days,
He was one of those guys.
he says he was teaching those guys.
I don't know. I wasn't at the table, so I don't fucking know. That's
Yeah.
what he said?
Huh?
That's what he said?
Well, yeah, he said he was like, Russell and all those guys used to come to his house.
Sounds probable to me.
Yeah.
When I met Russell for the first time, it was like 08 or 09, and he was selling his potato gun thing. That's what he sold then. Are you familiar with the potato gun?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. He had glasses, he had pimples. He was a young kid. Like it was a very different world. And the websites were all ugly as fuck. They were all one long sales letter with red headlines and the yellow highlighter going through it. That was all anyone did.
It worked.
It worked. It still might work today, I think, honestly, if you got the right message on the words.
What do you find is working today best?
Chat. So that's been the biggest shift for me the last few years is going from I talk, you listen sales process on the internet to we're going to play catch. I'm going to say something, I'm going to throw the ball to you, you're going to say something, you're going to throw it back to me. And the best place I found to do that is through chat. I just found that, first of all, I hate fucking webinars. I think they're the worst thing in the world. And that's just my emotional standpoint on it. But as a consumer, I don't want to sit through anyone's webinar. I'm bored as hell. I don't want you to keep telling me you're going to tell me something without telling me and then wait until 100 minutes in and then you tell me that I have to buy your thing in order to find the thing you've been telling me you were going to tell me. So
that's only if you do the webinars right.
that's a high converting webinar, right?
Yeah, I tried a webinar once and I told them everything, and then I was surprised they didn't buy anything.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
shit,
I told
man.
them everything.
They're like, "Thanks, I'm gonna go buy this other guy's course." Yeah, I make that mistake in webinars also.
Well, how do you get the people in the chat? Because I understand the whole chat thing, but how do you give 8 different salespeople access to your social media?
So, last month, ManyChat launched their Instagram software. So now I can plug in ManyChat into your DMs, and now I can put 8 closers in there. They don't have to know your IG password, so they don't have access to your actual privacy. They're just in the ManyChat interface. and I can set up auto tagging if I want. So I can set up a pipeline. So leads that need nurtured, you go to you. Closers, you get these ones. We can lead score, and I can send them to the better closers. So I can do all that stuff with ManyChat now.
It's called ManyChat.
Yeah, just MANY, like many chat.
You're gonna have to show me how to do that.
I'll connect you right after, man. I got you. So I'm Dan Kennedy, and then ManyChat. I got you. No
yeah. Because when I start promoting next year, what I'm going to promote, which is basically, if you ain't making $500,000 a year, come do it. I'll show you exactly how. There's going to be, I think, a lot of people interested in that, and someone has to close them.
Yep.
Because when they go, oh, it's X amount of dollars, oh, that's bullshit. Someone has to close those.
Yeah.
But if you can get a good rhythm going, man, where you putting on 1,000 a month, you're doing fine at
Totally.
6.9.
And you can, in chat, you can sell high ticket. You never have to get on the phone with them. I know dudes who are closing, $7K, $10K deals consistently just through chat. I never got to talk to the guy, which is wonderful.
Yeah, and if you have to, get on the phone, I would imagine, no?
At the end, yeah, they need some reassurance. Fine. Like, you chat with them for a few minutes. I'll call you right now.
Yeah, dude, you should, number one, come do my podcast, and let me drill you on the marketing aspects.
I got you. Yeah.
And then afterwards, like, I'll hire you to help me dial my shit in.
So what my agency does is we partner with people like you, and we monetize your DMs for you. So I was gonna ask you, is Jordan one of your clients?
Jordan Stupar? Who?
Alfred?
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about it on public?
Well, no, I mean, like we have a straight line selling on Lightspeed because he wanted to put it on there, and I closed him for doing it. But he also has it somewhere else. I forget where, but
Okay, because we just started working with him, and
you're probably selling his shit course.
No, because I was writing the copy, and when they gave me the materials to go through, the big angle was that it's interactive.
Yeah.
And that it's good. So when you were talking, I was like, this got to be Lightspeed.
Yeah, well then it's probably Lightspeed.
It'll be the Lightspeed one. Okay. So like we just signed with him, Rich that Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki's team, a couple of people I can't name.
Is it all courseware?
That we sell? Typically it's been, yeah. So we sell
No
information.
masterminds, programs like that?
We like to sell the front end high ticket thing. The 1 to 3K thing is like our sweet spot.
Do you ever help them figure out what that looks like? Dude, I could probably funnel you hundreds of customers. Because we have them come in, do a Lightspeed system, and then they're like, well, what do we sell? And I'm like, you're already supposed to know that.
It's not my job.
Yeah, like, dude, I'm going to help you virtualize it. You have to figure out what it is, and, I thought you had that. So a lot of times I run into people that I should just fling to you.
Mm-hmm. Do they have a built-in audience already?
A lot of them, yeah.
We only work with the ones who have the audience already, because I'm not going to show them how to start running ads. But if like most people, even in your position right now, you have a big ass audience. They're super engaged. They love you. They love your shit. They watch it. You probably get tons of people DMing you all day. You don't have the time to fucking go through them all.
I do go through them all.
Do you go through them all?
But I'm not selling them anything, so it's easy.
Right.
It's just a lot of
a lot of validation.
Yeah, a lot of emojis.
Attaboy, yeah. But as you're well aware, all those messages are customers.
Potential.
They could all be 1 or 2 or 3K front end customers.
Especially with my new program.
Yeah.
Because I believe everybody needs to learn these things. Everybody. And I truly believe there's no reason to go further if you're not willing to. Why? That's just like, you tell me you want to lose weight, but you're not willing to work out. You want to lose weight, but you're not willing to change your diet. I want to lose weight, but I'm not going to change my diet. Well, then let's not even talk. So once you get, I think, that kind of conviction, it's almost easier selling everybody because it's just the truth. You have to go in here, get to this level, and then I can take you from there. But if you're not at this level with knowledge, that's what this first entry level is getting you there. And then that's going to weed out the pussies. It's going to weed out the weak sucks. It's going to weed out the freaking hand raisers. I call those people that claim they want to be rich the hand raisers, because as soon as you tell them what it takes, their hand goes down. It's like, oh, I'm not doing that. Oh, well then get out of the way and let the players play.
Yeah.
Like, take the jersey off and get out the game.
Yeah. So I'm just curious, the positioning you're talking about right now, the like I'm only looking for people who look like this, and if you look like this, that's fine, but get the fuck out because you're not for me. I want these people here. Is that something you learned over time that was just necessary in the sales and the marketing and positioning of what you do, or is that something you've always done naturally?
No, I mean, I kind of evolved into it because you can't help everybody. You know, people have to help themselves before you can help them. One time, Grant was posting a shit ton on social media, always wanting you to buy. And, you know, me and him are buddies, so I'm following him. So one day I texted him. I said, dude, you got to stop freaking doing this, dude. You're going to lose your followers. You're going to, you know, people are going to unfollow you if you just every 5 seconds asking them to buy shit. And he kept doing it. And I said, dude, I'm going to have to unfollow you, bro. It's freaking stupid. And he goes, go ahead. You ain't buying anything. Which made me think, like, that's true. Like, the people unfollowing you because you keep asking them to buy, they're not who you're looking for. You're looking for the people that are buyers, right? So if you're not constantly asking people to buy, how are they going to buy? You're more worried about the people that are unfollowing you because you're asking people to buy. At least that's the lesson I got when he told me that, and it just made me realize now I like to do both. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna pitch you so hard you unfollow me. Like I'm more relational than transactional. Grant's a little more transactional than relational. I like relationships. You know, I don't even close people when they come to my office. You know, people call me back 6 months later and they're like, dude, you must be richer than hell. I'm like, why do you say that? You haven't even followed up. I'm like, oh, well, you ready? They're like, yeah, but like I had to call you. You haven't called me. I said, dude, you saw the system. What do you want me to do? Run around and beg you? But it's just because it's a little bit because I don't need business anymore. Knock on wood. And quite frankly, like you said, you don't want to teach people to do ads. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna show people if they get it, they get it. You know, a lot of people, they don't want to rev share because I take a little piece, and most people that aren't on Lightspeed, I meet them and they're like, yeah, well, you take a piece of my revenue. I never understood that. Well, I don't take a piece of your revenue. I take a piece of my revenue because if you're not on Lightspeed, you don't have that revenue. How do I know? Well, because you're not asking questions and you're not making offers. So I only take a piece of the revenue that generates interactively. So would you rather have, 100% of $1 million or 80% of $5 million? I'd take 80% of $5 million personally. But most people don't realize why I'm taking it. And it's because I'm showing you how to make it. And quite frankly, I started that way 20 years ago. I might have to change it one of these days where I don't take a piece. I just do flat.
Rev share is the best.
I like rev share.
I'm a big fan of rev share.
It puts both people in the game.
Yes.
It incentivizes me to get you big.
Yes.
Like I've gotten several people on the 10X stage who now are much bigger. Well, because they were on Lightspeed, I called Grant and got them on the 10X stage. Now, being on 10X would make you a shit ton of money. I didn't get Russell on there, however, but he made a fortune on the old 10X stage. But yeah, so you just have to, in my book, understand that number one, it takes work. You're not going to get away from that. Number two, you gotta learn marketing if you're going to do it yourself. Otherwise, hire someone like you, which to me is the smartest way to go anyway. I don't want to learn marketing as much as you have learned it. Let me just hire you. You want to take a little piece? I'll raise my price. I'll just make my customer pay you. So like, let's say I was going to charge $1,000 and you come along and you say, Brad, I'm going to take 20%. I say, okay, it's $1,295 now. You just, my customer will pay you. Why? Because quite frankly, learning what I'm teaching you is worth $100,000. Over time, it's worth millions of dollars. So raising it a percentage to cover commission,
Yeah.
and not being afraid of people not buying it. A lot of people are desperate. Like, if this $10,000 in ad spend doesn't work, I'm busted. Well, you better like get a plan B.
Better make that work. That's a bad place to be because it's people smell it. Commission breath, right? They can sniff
Oh,
it
yeah.
out. Yeah, when someone's desperate. The reason I asked about the positioning thing is just because it's just a pattern that I've noticed with all the most successful people I've been around. Is that they all are very clear about what type of people they want to work with and be around, and who they won't. And it's not bullshit. It's very congruent. It's just, this is what my life experience has taught me, that I'm going to succeed with these people and not these. So I'm not trying to be a dick to you, but you're not a fit for this. You shouldn't even look at this kind of thing. And what it does, of course, as you know, is it's a very attractive position to take as well to a marketplace. And I was a dating coach in my 20s. That was what I did.
I should have been.
That's how I made money. That's how I made money in the first place when I got started. But that's game. That's pickup. That's the number one thing, because pickup is all about framing, like, everything with the girl. And the number one frame for the guys always has to be is his status is here and her status is here, and she's proving herself to him. That is a female, like, that's how it works. I don't know, people watch this and they're like, no, there's no females, there's no males, there's just, I don't know, blobs or something. But I'm like, no, that's how it works. We're Stone Age brains living in a digital world.
Now there's she-males.
Yeah, there's all kinds of shit out there. I heard, was it men can have children? Right? That's what it is. Hey, yeah, men have babies now. I saw it on an emoji. But like I see the same thing in all the different industries and all the different places. It's that positioning. And the guys, when I would teach them in dating, that was the hardest thing for them to do, because I don't want to get too Freudian, but like the guys who need fucking dating coaching were the ones who, frankly, just didn't get enough love from mommy when they were growing up. And so they get really needy for female attention, that when they get older, they'll do anything. I'll buy you flowers and chocolates. I saw a video. This is a real video where there's a guy and the wife was, I don't know if she was wife. She was pregnant. She was maybe 4 months. She had a little bump. They're somewhere in public in a hallway, and there was nowhere for them to sit. So the man got on his hands and knees as a bench, and she sat on him. And that was the video. And my heart broke a little bit in that moment. But dude, the messages men get about women today is fucking terrifying.
I've fortunately never needed a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make the bench thing work if you had the right attitude.
Oh, yeah. How would you? I don't know how you'd get out of that one. You're in a tough position there.
Well, I mean, she's already pregnant, so must have worked, whatever it was.
In some way, I'm not.
He got her pregnant. It worked.
Hopefully, he was the one who got her pregnant. If he's getting down on hands and knees, though, I would bet. I'm a little jaded, but I would bet there's a small chance he's not even the father.
I call it the takeaway, the takeaway close. But the takeaway close is, works well, especially when it comes to dating, And when you walk up and they think you're needy, definitely a big turnoff. Confidence and humor is, I think, the way you get females. Mm-hmm. One time I was at a car dealership working, and I had a sales team. Everybody knew that kind of I could get the girls. And so they told me that there's this one in the service drive, gorgeous. So I'm like, let me be the judge. So I roll out there, and sure enough, there was just a stunner sitting there. So I walked up, and they're like, dude, let's see you pick her up, man. There ain't no way you can get that girl. So I rolled over there and started talking to her. It turns out she has a boyfriend, and so I turn around and I'm walking away, and one of my guys says, "Thought you were a closer, bro." And I thought, damn, because dude, I tried, and she said no. So I rolled over there and I said, "Hey, let me ask you a question." She said, "Yeah." I said, "What'd you have for dinner last night?" She said, "Pasta." And I said, "What'd you have the night before?" She said, "Chicken." And I said, "Why didn't you have pasta?" She goes, "Why would I eat pasta every night?" And I said, "Exactly." Call me when you're tired of pasta. And dude, 3 days later, she called me. Apparently her boyfriend wasn't treating her right. She called me. We dated for like a year and a half, almost. I mean, she had me sprung for a minute. But it was because of that she called me. So it's not always a takeaway. Sometimes it could be charming. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it could be, just something they find cute. Mm-hmm. But mostly it's the takeaway. Like if you're desperate, Like if someone came to me and said, dude, you got to teach me how to get girls, that one's going to work more than most.
Mm-hmm.
Like I walked up to a table of girls once. My buddies were in town. I didn't have any money. I still lived in Vegas, but I didn't have any money to speak of. And my buddy said, dude, you're the one that gets all the girls. Let's see you get some girls. And there was a whole table of girls that just kept firing on these dudes. Like every dude that tried to get close to them, they'd just get shot down. So he goes, dude, go get those girls to let us set with them. I said, dude, we've been watching the whole night and everybody's getting shot down. And he said, come on, dude, thought you were a closer. So you usually have to dare me. So anyway, I said, dude, sometimes, dude, you got to have some money. You got to roll up confident. And he takes out his American Express and throws it to me. I said, okay. So I pick up his American Express. I roll over to the table. They're all talking. They all look at me almost like, get the fuck out of here. And I said, I'm going to make you guys a deal. They said, yeah. And I said, I threw the card on the table, and it was a metal one, so it made the noise.
Nice little clank.
Yeah, I said, I'll make you all a deal. I said, I'm going to buy all the drinks if you guys promise not to hog all the covers. Dude, they started they said, that is the best line we've heard. Pull up a chair. I'm like, come on over, fellas.
Love it.
That was a terrible night. When it ended, it was at the it was at Mandalay Bay. And I think it was Mandalay Bay. Anyway, long story short, I got so drunk that I was on a dance floor dancing. And I'm looking at the girl, and all of a sudden, my face was on the floor. And I couldn't figure it out, and I just literally fell over drunk.
Jesus.
And I couldn't fucking walk. You think I got laid?
I believe you did.
I did.
Yeah, you're a closer.
Yeah, she was like, oh, she got me up. I woke up in her room. I was all hung over, naked. My wife's going to listen to this podcast and be like,
what were you
she doesn't listen to my podcast, so
she won't hear
I'll probably be pretty safe. But it was before her anyway, obviously. That's another thing I always tell people, dude, don't be a cheater. Don't be a cheater. Like, dude, 52 years old, trust me when I tell you, dude, have some ethics in your life. Like, make a decision to where, hey, if you're going to be with a girl and you commit, do what you say you're going to do. You know, you start looking at other girls and want them, well, then just tell your girl. And dude, sometimes that freaks them out and makes them want you 50 times more.
Correct. Yeah. Or they're like, once in a while you might find out. They're like, all right, let's go talk to her.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Hey.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Hey,
Things can happen.
that does happen.
Yeah, it happens.
But I should have been a dating coach.
You still could.
I didn't. Well, hell no. Now I can't.
No, you're good.
Now I'm married, bro. I can't. I'd have to take them out and show them. I'm one of those people that, like, if I'm not doing it, I probably won't say I can teach you. Like in closing and sales, I close the closers all day long. I close deals all day long in multiple industries, big deals, and I'm doing it. So when someone says, you can teach me to close, well, yeah, I'll teach you what I'm doing. I'll teach you what I think. I'll teach you the strategies. So if I were going to start dating coaching, I'd have to go do it. I'd have to go do it and say, last night, here's what I said and here's what I did. And
you got to be speaking from yesterday, not from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My pickup days are over.
The one of my favorite stories from that time for me was, it's not even about me. It's just like, so the story has a name, and it's called 365 Blowjobs. And the story is, this is a story that we would coach guys to say to girls they just started dating. And the story is that, and this was a true, so basically the story happened. I was having a party at my house. There was a girl I knew. She was a hairdresser. And at her salon, there's a woman who comes in every week, and this woman is 90 years old. But she gets her hair done the same way. Everyone in the salon loves her. She's very friendly. And she's been married to the same guy for 65 years. And they have this, he drops her off sometimes, and they see them kiss, and they're like, you guys, 65 years, have the best relationship. Like, how do you do this? How is this happening? And she goes, I'll tell you. She goes, for the last 65 years, every morning, I'd done two things for my man. One, when we wake up, I'd get him a glass of orange juice. And two, I'd give him a blowjob. And those two things, it's the cure for any relationship. And so, true story, but guys would tell that story to the girl they just started dating, inception, plant the seed, good life. It's a good one. Now your wife definitely can't watch this shit.
The when I approached girl, I got to a point where I didn't use pickup lines. I'd just roll up and say, "Listen, I would." It would be a complete tragedy if I didn't at least introduce myself. My name's Brad. What's yours? And never did they not give me their name. And then once they gave you their name, you had to keep it going. But at the end of the day, the takeaway I think is the highest conversion rate in history.
Totally.
I forgot who it was, but someone said you roll up to a girl and say something like, so other than your looks, what else do you have? Or some shit like that.
We went over this whole one in the last podcast, actually.
Yeah, and that's the takeaway.
The Neil Strauss, the beauty is counting.
Yeah, or you roll up and you're like, look, if you promise not to pressure me for sex, I'll take you to dinner.
Yeah. That stuff.
But I don't think, does that shit actually work?
It does, because you got to say it congruently. If you're a dude who's been playing Magic Gathering for 10 years and you got spit coming out of your mouth.
What's Magic Gathering?
It's like one of those like role-playing games, like a card game. It's a nerdy game, Not that nerds are bad. It's just that's what they do.
See, now you know I'm not a nerd.
Yeah,
I've never even heard of it.
It's like a Pokemon type thing.
Okay,
but if you've been doing that, and you've only gotten laid by your right and left hand, and that's it, and you go and you say this to a chick, she's not gonna believe you. If you're like one of the best lines at the start of a date is like, "Hey, really happy to see you. Just so you know, though, like we're not having sex tonight. Anyways, let's go sit down." If you have never gotten laid and you say that, she's gonna be like, "What fucking book did you read that shit in?" But if you're a dude who's had experience and has confidence and you say it, it actually means something. So the same way a funnel can't make someone rich, a line can't make you get laid. Like you need to be the real deal for it to work anyways.
Yeah, and the opposite even works. Like I'd roll up to girls and say, according to my magic watch, you're not wearing any panties. And then they'd show me their G-string and I'd say, it's just an hour fast.
For someone who's never a dating coach,
you
got a nice
time.
toolbox. Yeah.
Give us some time, I'd say. Give us some time. I could tell you a shitload of stories, but I won't.
Yeah,
I've had some great stories in my day, but I don't want to talk about them.
Yeah, I know we can't talk about it, unfortunately. Dude, what's sad to me actually is when I was mostly doing dating coaching, like at the peak, let's call this 2014, 7 years ago. On YouTube, there was tons of other people doing it. And there was good guys who were really doing it in real life and were teaching important things to young men to learn about how to relate with women. And as YouTube has demonetized and shadow banned, they're all gone. There's almost nothing left. So when I was coming up, like I could get so much information because I was a virgin until I was 20. I was afraid of women. Like I was fucked up. I needed that to learn how to communicate with women. I didn't have the natural, I could go talk to a girl. There's more guys now than there were then who have these issues with women because they grew up with a fucking screen and not human interaction. So they need it more, and it's not there at all. And that's
there's no dating coaching out there.
If it is, it's neutered to like the lowest degree. It's almost all gone. And it's fucking sad because if I didn't have that shit when I was younger, my whole life would be different. I don't know what the fuck I would be doing. I would not be doing what I do today. So I don't know how to get the information to the guys, but I know that they need it.
Well, I know how to get it to them. You come in and make a course on it.
Yeah. I love it. Oh, yeah.
I even know someone I can hook you up with to market it for you.
Yeah?
Close the deals in their DM and everything.
There it is.
Yeah. All you have to do is make the course.
Well, I'm not going back into dating coaching, but in general, I hope that something changes, that these young dudes can learn how to relate to women because they get these messages that, either there are no men anymore and there are no women, or that if you're a man, you're inherently bad, you're toxic or some shit like that. All that shit is just not good for their self-esteem, and it's not good for their relating to women. And it's not just the guys who are going to suffer, it's the women who are going to suffer too in the relationships.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times if you can't get women, it's because you don't value yourself. So, like, if I were truly going to teach someone how to get a girl, I would teach them first how to value themselves. Because once you value yourself authentically and really, you don't even want a woman. Okay, you're just like that's not even important. And as soon as it's not important, they flock. For some reason. It's weird. When you want one, man, they're not around. And when you do find one, you're freaking getting in a bench for them in a crowded bus. But if you value yourself, you work on yourself, you build up that self-worth, that self-love, as corny as that sounds, and that confidence, you don't even want one anymore. And that's when they start flocking. So like not even interested. Most dudes, when they get older, their dick stops working and they get rich. Did you know that?
I did not know that those were.
There's a study because basically us dudes, spend our whole lives chasing women instead of going to work. And then, once you get up in your ages, apparently you get dick problems, and now you can't get women even if you could get women. So, what do? Well, you work and you get rich. Nowadays, they've got all the, dick pills and shit, so it works till you're 100. But back then, that's why most, 50, 60, 70-year-old dudes were all rich, because there's nothing to do. You couldn't get a woman even if you got one.
The first thing I thought about was Colonel Sanders when you said that. Do you know his story?
Well, apparently his dick didn't work, so he decided to go make some chicken.
And now y'all eating his chicken, yeah? He didn't.
That's where that secret recipe came from. That's why he'll never tell you what's in it.
It's great. And I can never eat KFC again.
Dude, you shouldn't be eating that shit anyway.
I'm joking. I don't eat it.
Are they even in business still?
Yeah. But it's not Kentucky Fried Chicken anymore. It's just KFC. They changed the name.
Well, whatever. Every single one I've ever seen is out of business. I live on Eastern up here. Boom, there was one or two up there. They're out of business. They're not there.
I see them.
I'd vote Popeyes if I'm going
fried chicken.
If I'm going fried chicken, like shitty fried chicken, I'm going Popeyes 100%.
I've never had it.
They should pay me, Popeyes.
Endorse this shit. Colonel Sanders started KFC when he was 62. So I'm imagining that he was fucking until he was about 60, and then he got bored and it didn't work, and he was like, let me do something else with this energy. Who knows?
Dude,
that's like the untold story.
You can Google that shit. You can Google that shit.
Yeah.
I read a whole article on it, and I was like, interesting. And this is when I was like freaking 25. And I'm like, dude, I hope when I'm 50, my dick works. And fortunately, it still does. Matter of fact, my wife's having our newest baby in December. So not only does it still work, everything was working.
Congratulations, man.
It's funny too, because I have 7 kids from 4 women.
You have 7 kids.
Yeah, but I can explain. It sounds bad.
I know you can explain. You're a good talker.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, 17 years old in high school, my little high school sweetie, we did it once. Boom, kid. I'm like, damn, that was quick. One time, 1 kid. A year later, 1 time, 1 kid. Different girl. So now it's 2 kids, 2 girls. Then I moved down here, found a hot girl, married her, had 2 kids. Right? Totally explainable. That's nothing wrong with that so far. But that's 3 girls, 4 kids. And then she decided that she wanted to be in charge. We had a meeting, disagreed, so we had to split. And then I met my wife and had 3 more. So like that's 7 kids, 4 women, but it's not that bad.
No, it just sounds like you're extra potent.
Yeah, so it was funny too, because her girlfriend and her girlfriend's boyfriend come over to the house sometimes, and they've been trying to get pregnant for a long time, and she can't, or it's hard time or whatever. Anyway, so she came over, found out my wife was pregnant again, and she looks at her, I don't know if it's her husband or her boyfriend, but she looks over and she goes, babe, I want to get pregnant like Melissa. And I looked at her and I said, you're going to have to come over more often. Like, I got to get to know you a little bit. You want to get pregnant like her, but
yeah.
So apparently everything's working.
Everything's humming along.
Yeah, humming along. And I'll tell you, I hope it never stops working, because then you, like, what would you do?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like, it's a scary fucking proposition. It's like,
Get rich.
Rich.
Well, I'm already. Well, the thing is maybe I'll figure out something to do, but
I feel like
it wouldn't be for me nowadays. It would be for her. Like, you know, she's pretty young still, and I wouldn't want her like finding a neighbor kid or something because big dog can't serve it up. So I hope I can serve it up as long as it needs to be served up.
I have faith. I don't think that's gonna be an
Yeah,
issue.
well, hey,
Yeah.
there's technology out there. There's medicine. There's all kinds of shit. I'll be seeking help when that day comes.
Sure. There's
And then all these young kids listening, laughing. Fuck you, dude. The younger, believe it or not, younger and younger and younger. Erectile dysfunction.
well, that's what I was gonna say. Is there's even I watched a video a couple of days ago about how sperm count has gone down every year for something like 30 or 40 years. It's like something like males have half as much sperm now as they did 50
Probably
years
the
ago.
food.
It's the food, the pharmaceutical, it's all that shit. Yeah. It's all that shit. It's crazy. You go look at Japan. People don't fuck anymore in Japan, and they don't have kids, and they think the population in Japan will decrease by like 30 to 40% in 25 years because no one's having babies anymore.
That's crazy.
It's happening everywhere though.
Like in China, you're not allowed to.
Right. There's limitations in China. There's also, this was fascinating. China had banned private tutoring a couple years ago.
What for?
It was a $140 billion industry, and they banned it. Why would you ban private tutoring? My guess, I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but my guess is that the tutors are teaching the kids stuff that the state doesn't want the kids to know. So we need to get rid of all that shit, and they only learn what we teach them in our schools.
That's probably dead balls accurate.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
That's too bad. But hopefully that's not where we're going.
I hope not. Yeah, I hope not. Do you think we are?
I don't know, man. You don't want to get this episode suppressed, do you?
I do. It's my goal. My goal is to get canceled.
Well,
It's my mission. I can do that real quick.
all you gotta do is start talking about the old.
What was that?
Oh
yeah. Yeah,
talk about that, and you will get canceled.
very quickly. Yeah, man. It's what's fascinating about it to me is that I know a lot of people who have certain views privately, influencers, people with audiences, but they won't share it publicly for the reasons you're talking about. But what it does is through omission, it creates a perception that that influencer agrees with what is happening to all their fans. And the reality is the influencer probably doesn't. But the suppressions, it's working. They're keeping everyone quiet.
I mean, everyone I know that isn't talking much about it, they believe the same thing I do. And I'm not all over social media yakking my gums because, dude, what good is, completely canceled? You can't say anything to anybody.
No.
It's better that you're you say, like, people that follow me, they know where I sit on that deal, which would be no fucking way, folks. They don't make it scary enough to be unvaxxed. They should have made it like being uncircumcised. That's scarier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they didn't make it scary enough, But on the other hand, getting it, they've made that pretty scary. Mm-hmm. You could like, oof. And not only that, like what you got such a slight chance of dying anyway if you get COVID. See, I shouldn't have said that, and it wouldn't. The Autobots wouldn't have heard it.
Shimona, the Roni Rona.
Yeah. But I mean, listen, I think it's everybody's personal choice. There's a lot of people scared. They've got comorbidities. They should get it. It's up to them. But when it comes to me, hell no. Oh, hell no. I found a doctor with bad aim. They're like, well, you have to get the card. And it's like, dude, I didn't say I wouldn't get the card. I said I ain't get. All you got to do is find a doctor that, really bad aim.
Yep.
That's why a lot of women find older gynecologists because they're like, all right, let's take a look.
It's the aim problem. That's what it is.
They're going to hate me for that one.
Yeah, I think everyone should be able to do whatever they want to do with their own body. That's just how it should be.
Well, again, to me, honestly, it's getting scary what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And, we were just trying to get rid of racism and discrimination and all this shit. And now it's back in worse than ever. But now it's not black or white or freaking, gay or straight. It's fucking vaxxed and unvaxxed. And that is crazy. Like, dude, if you're unvaxxed, you're not allowed to get on flights. You're not allowed to do all this crap. Some countries have full policies in place. Australia, where, you better get that shit. But right now, if you look at the studies, the unvaccinated areas have the lowest transmission cases, and the highest vaccinated have the most. That's Harvard studies came out. That's another thing when people, you get on Clubhouse ever?
Not really.
You can get a lot of customers in Clubhouse. I'm surprised you aren't.
Okay.
I mean, if you close in the DM, get on a Clubhouse, put a room title, they don't come in the room less they're interested in that title. So if you got on Clubhouse and said, hey, learn blah, 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 anyone that comes in there, dude, you're DMing them and chatting them right there in the room. And there are back channels. And, dude, I did a one for Lightspeed one time. I just said how to make real money selling courses online. We did like $300,000 in a day. Just calling the people that were in the room, listening to what I was saying. So Clubhouse is a good lead source. But anyway, what was I saying about Clubhouse? Oh, yeah, you go in some of those rooms and, people keep quoting these studies. Aren't they aware that like a 15-year-old dipshit from frickin' South Bend, Oregon can post something and make it look like it's a Harvard study?
Sure. No, they're not aware.
So who are they choosing to believe? It was on the internet. That doesn't make it true, dipshit. It was on the news. That certainly doesn't make it true, dipshit. Right. There's 7 million deaths. According to who? According to the CDC. What if they're lying? Well, why would they lie? Why would they lie? Maybe because they're getting paid to. Maybe because Big Pharma has decided that we're all going to get this no matter what. They're getting richer than fuck. It makes no sense. Now they're getting ready to mandate it for kids that don't die from it. What's the purpose? So it doesn't spread. Spread to whom? The other people that have been vaccinated? And now, like they're saying, you can't get into hospitals if you're unvaxxed because they don't want the beds taken by unvaxxed, so they want them for all the vaxxed. Well, why would the vaxxed be in there if it works so well?
Right.
And then you got to get a vax so I don't get sick. Like, you got to be vaxxed so the vax don't get sick. That makes no sense. That's like saying you got to wear a diaper so I don't shit my pants.
Well, there's nothing logical about it.
Or how about wear a diaper? Because, dude, there is a 2% chance you will shit your pants. You're like, no, I haven't shit my pants my whole life. Yeah, but you could theoretically shit your pants, so get a diaper on.
Right. Well,
and by the way, I sell those diapers. Isn't that a coincidence?
Do you?
Well, in that analogy, I'd be the one selling diapers.
Yeah. I got some friends who, first of all, I don't disagree with anything that you're saying. I have nothing to add to it. That's all what I think. But I have friends who would agree with us completely, and they made a bunch of money last year selling masks. So it's really interesting to see what you believe versus what you make.
Yeah, I know somebody made a buttload with the PPE, personal protection equipment, masks, gowns, all that.
All that stuff.
Fortune. Made so much he moved to Morocco.
Really?
Bought a hotel and hanging out there.
Sounds cool. I love those little stories. They always like, yeah, he bought a hotel and moved to Morocco, and everyone's like, "Fuck, I want to do that." And meanwhile, they have no idea what Morocco looks like or where it is. But still, you're like, "I want to fucking do it."
Not only that, you go visit him and he's all miserable.
Of course.
Turns out he didn't make a bunch of money. He made a little bit. Bought the hotel, but it's a pain in his ass, and everybody in Morocco hates him because he's American.
Yep. But it sounded good when Brad talked about it.
One time I was in London, and there was a comedian. We went to this comedy show, and he goes, anybody here from the United States? And of course, I didn't say anything. And he goes, good. I hate those fuckers. That sounds more like Australia than the UK, but you get my point.
Yeah.
I don't know why, America's got such a bad rap in the last 10 years, but I still love it.
I love America. I think it's the best country on earth.
I do too.
Sometimes
I go on vacations for a minute. A minute to me is like you're gone at least a month in other countries, and it's like when I get home, dude, I'm like, dude, thankful for everything about this country. It's freaking awesome.
There's certain conveniences.
I just hope it doesn't change with all this shit.
Yeah. I don't-
Biden was just saying that, he was talking to Putin and, the dude running China, and, they don't believe a democracy is going to survive in this day and age, but we have to have an autocracy. An autocracy. What are you talking about, dude? Like, read the Constitution, fool.
Correct.
Let's leave it there.
Yeah, just take your hands off it. Go back to bed.
Maybe I'll run for president one of these days.
Well, not after telling all these stories about girls.
Sure, especially
Can't run
after.
anymore.
Bullshit. You tell the truth, man. That's what will make everybody vote for people. Be real, tell the truth.
That's how Trump won.
Be real, tell the truth.
And speaking
How did
of,
Trump lose is the
speaking
question.
a language that they understand. How did he lose?
Dude, go down to Arizona.
I can't say.
They went through all the ballots. There's some
This video, Will?
I said, yeah, this is a good taking out.
there's some funny
We
shit.
can edit whatever we want. It's fine.
I don't think you should. Just stick it up there.
Yeah.
Although the biggest video I ever put up, I got 1 million, let's say 4 in about 3 days, and they took it down. And it was a doctor named Rashid Buttar, who was right in the beginning of this pandemic, was saying the shit everybody's saying now. He was saying it then.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, 3 days, they literally took it down, and they sent me an email that said, "Don't do that again, or you will lose your channel." And I'm like, "Fuck, dude."
But the thing is, because I know of Dr. Buttar, is that no matter what they do to try to suppress, the internet always wins. Can't beat the internet. Fuck Joe Biden. You can't say it. Great. Let's go, Brandon. There's you can't stop it. People are going to talk. They're going to talk to each other. If they're going to find a way to share it with each other. The truth will get out.
Then how come all these people aren't standing up against this bullshit?
I think it's happening.
Where?
I see it happening. I've seen some of the airlines, right? They're not going to mandate anymore. Those are a couple small wins.
Well, that's what the media says.
Right.
See, when it's saying shit you don't want to hear, they're lying. And when they say shit you want to hear, oh, that's what the media says. Well, who cares? They could be lying, dude.
What I'm saying is they could both be false. They could both be true. So the whole concern of like, if all this shit is happening, what the fuck's happening in our country? Maybe it's not even happening. Maybe it's just the media also.
That's why, you know what? That's why what I focus on is my world. Mm-hmm. I do what I can. I go help people. I focus on winning. I focus on the positive. I wake up every day grateful to be even alive, which I believe is a secret sauce that a lot of people don't understand. You wake up with gratitude as if you just got 10 million cash. Like if I said I'll give you 10 million cash, we'd all be pretty happy for the rest of the day at least, maybe even the week, maybe even the month. But if I said you can't wake up tomorrow, you'd be like, of course not. I don't want it. Well, then you're telling me waking up tomorrow, one more day is worth more than 10 million, right? Mm-hmm. So how come we don't act that way? Mm. How come we don't have that same enthusiasm every time we wake up? Mm. Think about it, because we should. And when you do, your mindset shifts into optimism, and problems become opportunities, and just the whole vibe of the day goes way better. Bills and payments and pressure, not so bad. Yeah. The other day I got a blood test from Gary Brecka. Grant and Gary teamed up to make 10X Health. Anyway, he was downstairs at my training center speaking for one of these guys that were doing something down there. And he sold me on his blood test. So I'm like, I take my blood test, and the guy said, "Dude, I can't believe your blood. It is flawless. Like, it's unbelievable how good and clean your blood is." And I'm like, "Really?" And so he's like, most people, stress and all this. He says, he was asking me questions. He goes, "What do you stress about?" And I'm like, "Nothing." And a lot of people are like, they can't believe how nothing like stresses me. The whole world could be ending, and I'll be like, shit, where's a good seat to sit? Because why stress? Mm-hmm. So if you're listening, stop stressing, folks. Stop stressing. Start impressing yourself. Build your self-worth and be an asset to the world. That's my belief.
Well, dude, I think that's a perfect place to cap this thing off. I like that. We covered a lot of shit here.
Indeed. How long we been here?
Yeah, we covered a lot of stuff, like an hour and a half.
Dude, do you guys normally do this long a podcast?
A little bit shorter normally, but this was good.
Okay, well, then when someone says, what's the longest one, it'll be OBL.
That's right.
Well, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, dude, this was great. Getting to meet you and connect with you. This was fucking awesome.
Likewise.
Yeah, man. So thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
Appreciate you coming. I know a lot of places you could be, so to be here, I appreciate it.
My pleasure, man.
Yeah. For everyone at home, as always, like some shit, comment some stuff, share it, do all the stuff you know you're going to do that's going to help the algorithm. We appreciate it. And hope you enjoyed that, and we'll talk to you soon.